In the Stygian desert, food is scarce. The desert is about surviving. You take what is offered, whatever is closest, whatever is slowest. Wild hog, wild dog, it's all the same. It means only one thing: life. Under a bright moon in the desert, two riders will come when the time is nigh.
I must have the ring, yet if I touch it, I am dead.
Surely our God has sent you. May your hands and household be forever blessed. I've had my fill of ghosts and demons from the pit. Welcome to World of Conan and a review of Conan, the Songs of the Dead and other stories. This collection is published by Marvel, but originally these stories were published under Dark Horse. This book is a great and a definite recommend from me. It's a mature read, so it's not for kids. The first story is the main story, The Songs of the Dead, written by Joe R. Lansdale and Tim Truman, with art by Timothy Truman. And it is the best story with the best art in this collection, though Bart Sears, who does the latter two stories, has great art as well. The Songs of the Dead is a great story with a good plot, great dialogue and fun characters. Very well done with a movie feel to it. It begins with Conan in the desert of Stygia, just trying to survive, when he comes across an old friend, Alvazar, who finds himself buried in the desert, waiting execution for angering the priests of Set. As there is no love lost between Conan, Set and his priests, he kills the guards and helps Alvazar to get out of his predicament. Through these circumstances, Conan finds himself in possession of the demon's root, which Alvazar was sent to steal, unwittingly becoming entangled with wizards, monsters, the dead, and old gods. Continuing on, they come across the House of the Night, which the demon's root opens, which holds the Ring of the King, another artifact, one of four, which the wizard Husbas, a former disciple of Thoth Amon, seeks. Crom. I saw you had it under control, so I didn't rush. You're tough on nature, Conan. However, on livestock. The rat ate a little man. The rat is the little man. The creature is one of the wizard's servants. If that is so, he has handed out his last towel. Who is this wizard? He is a former disciple of the great sorcerer Thoth Amon. His name is Husbas.
Must I do everything myself? What's the purpose of being a wizard if you have to do all the work yourself?
It was Husbas who hired Alvazar to steal the demon's root. Conan comes across the ring and fights the ring's guardian, defeating him and thus becoming its possessor. They adventure further to the west in the desert, intent on selling the artifacts for a lot of money. Finding a camp, they seek shelter and water and meet a woman warrior from a mysterious order who has heard of a prophecy regarding two who would come from the desert when the time is nigh. She has her own plans and joins Conan and Alvazar. I won't continue further so as not to spoil the story, but this is a great and fun read, one of the better Conan comics. Especially the banter between Conan and Alvazar is classic, just excellent, reminding me of those old school buddy cop movies. Made me laugh. The art is also fantastic, and like I said earlier, this story is mature and brutal, very violent, shows the barbarism, how Conan understands a situation quickly and stops the nonsense. Especially liked how in a blink of an eye Conan just ends a situation, so this story comes with a high recommendation from me. The next story is called The Spear and is only a 10-page story with art by Paul Lee and script by Timothy Truman. The Spear tells the tale of a wizard set on resurrecting his master, set in the aftermath of a battle where Conan finds himself on the losing side. He sets his sight on confronting the wizard and avenging his fallen comrades. It's a nice little story with decent art, written mostly from the perspective of the wizard, but ultimately forgettable with its filler story. Though of course to have a very compelling 10-page story is not the easiest of tasks. The third story is another short one called Age of Conan, Hyborian Adventures, The Road of Kings. 6 pages, written by Timothy Truman and drawn by Carrie Nord. This short story is a small segment of Conan and Giara on the run as they come across a few priests of Mitra who are under attack. Conan intervenes and a fierce battle ensues. This story is a fun one with excellent art by Cary Nord, the premier artist of the Dark Horse run of Conan. There is not much to this little story, but the art of Cary Nord makes it all worth it. Obviously it's just a little slice, so if you want more of the fantastic art of Cary Nord, buy the 50-issue run by Dark Horse for more awesome art and by many the best story and adaptation of Conan. The fourth story is called Trophy, written by Tim Truman and Ben Truman, drawn by Marian Churchland, an 8-page story with very different kind of art than I'm used to seeing in Conan. Story follows Conan in Shem as he emerges from the desert, stopping at an inn, back from many battles carrying trophies. In dire need of food and drink, he tells many tales to the patrons of the inn, as well as getting accosted by the sheik of the inn. But the night does not go the way as the sheik intended. This story is in my opinion the worst with the worst art. It feels like a story from the Arabian Nights with art to match, and it's the odd man out of this collection. While not bad, it just is not for me, and the story and its resolution is basic and lackluster. The next story along with the last story has art by the great Bart Sears, and has the best art alongside the Songs of the Dead story. First up is a tale called Conan, Kiss of the Undead, another 8-page short story, an atmospheric tale with vampires, or are they? We find Conan in Tarantia, capital of Aquilonia, in a bar drinking away when he is approached by a noblewoman for guard duty. She seems to have an appointment with the cemetery, which evokes a great laughter from Conan. Conan does not care, for coin is coin and he is in need of it, so they set out in the dark of night to the graveyard. And what good can come of being in the cemetery in the dark of night? Nothing but foul and undead things. Conan has the classic helmet from the 70s Marvel run in this, which was awesome. Also he looks the most savage in these two Bart Sears drawn tales. Ferocious, violent and massive. Someone you do not want to cross. The story has an abrupt ending, but sets up the next one. The last story and the second longest one, which is a tale called Conan, Island of No Return, which continues on from the Kiss of the Undead. Conan is on the run after running afoul of the chief magistrate of Tarantia because of the countess, who is his wife. While escaping, he is intercepted by two women called Brenna and Venya, sisters who have a need for a great thief, specifically Conan, whose reputation has preceded him. There is a great treasure hoard that the sisters are after that is located on a small island of the coast of Zingara, once a pleasure palace of a prince centuries ago. The sisters convince Conan to join them, even though the island has a history of dark rites and sorcery. I've had my fill of ghosts and demons from the pit. Mere tales, Conan, told by the superstitious to frighten the ignorant. In my experience, such tales are often far too real. So you refuse our offer? We would split the treasure with you in even thirds. I will do this thing, but I will not like it. We should rise early. It's a long hard ride to the coast. Once there, we can trade the horses for a boat. There! That must be it. What else could such a scrap be? Can you manage dropping the sail? It's not my first time in a boat. Then get that sail down, lest we be dashed upon the rocks. The trio arrive at the island, and Conan climbs the sheer cliff before helping the sisters up. Once there, they investigate the ruins and run into men and beasts and all kinds of mischief. Bart Sears' art shines on this and on the Kiss of the Undead. I love Bart's choices of compositions and placements of the panels. The colors of Mark Roberts highlights Bart's art very well. I especially enjoyed the night scenes of both Kiss of the Undead and Island of No Return. I love that in these two stories, the nonchalant nature of Conan is highlighted. Nothing phases him. Conan is ready for every situation, making the best of it and surviving. To sum it all up, this collection is an awesome read and a good choice for some more Conan stories, especially the title story, The Songs of the Dead, with its great story of dark gods, dark sorcery and the end of the world, with its fun dialogue. It is a recommend from me. Thank you for listening. I'll see you on the next video. Hail Conan.